Hello, welcome to a live edition post game of Locked on Sharks. I'm JD Young, just hanging out right now as Kyle was at the game. So wanted to do something a little special Saturday night, and just wanted to kind of hang out here for a few minutes and just kind of talk with you guys about this kind of weird and crazy game. So it was definitely something we kind of, just a lot of energy and emotion and kind of very random, or I guess kind of a random game, if you ask me, especially with all the penalties that were called and weren't called. So, yeah, so I'll be, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'm more than happy to talk about them. But I mean, it's definitely was kind of a weird game. It was terribly officiated game tonight. Um, but yeah, before we let's get that, let's talk about Ryan Merkley before we talk about the um before we talk about the refs and stuff like that. So Ryan Merkley, who I thought honestly was like dead. Just that hit he took was terrible hit, but I don't know how you let him back in the game. I mean, I know he passed his concussion protocol or whatever, and he was back in the dressing room for a while, but like you got to protect the players. And he played okay when he came back, but like there was definitely times they showed him on the bench. He just kind of looks not 100% there, and it felt like I don't know. It felt weird. It felt bad just seeing him out on the ice after that. And it was I know he's small and he takes, he's gonna take he's more prone to take hits from the head, but it was a bad hit. I mean, getting a shoulder to the helm, to the head, and just the way he reacted once he hit the ice, and he was trying to dig himself up, and it was bad. And then, and the refs not doing anything there and just letting the play go on and stuff. And yeah, just a tough, tough look. And just 15 minutes later, he's back on the ice as if nothing happened. Yeah, I can't believe that. I Part of me can't believe that he was on the ice, but part of me can believe that they let him back out there. You would think with Merkley, where you would try to protect him and stuff, and like, hey, yeah, you might feel okay like 15 minutes after, but like, let's just take the night off, rest of the night off, especially when you've already dressed 7 defensemen, and so it's not like they'd be down a defenseman. You could just play Shimmick, or just play Shimmick in Merkley's role. And like, I don't know. I would be super cautious with him, especially I wouldn't be surprised if he feels mad tomorrow, but we'll never know because of the teal curtain. But yeah, it just seemed weird to me that you wouldn't try to be a little bit more overprotective of Merkley after especially a monster hit like that, where he struggled to get off the ice and like was woozy and when he's walking down the tunnel. So yeah. But the refs, I mean, I'm usually not a complaint about the refs guy. But the refs tonight that was that was bad. Just some of the soft calls that were getting called, especially on Timo. Timo Meyer looked like he was ready to destroy somebody, especially on that last cross-check call. Logan Couture got the shit kicked out of him tonight. Like, just told, just, like there was the one play against the boards where he got like, it was kind of a borderline boarding call, gets cross-checked in front of the goal like 3 times, and he finally gets a penalty called at the end of the game. But just awful reffing tonight. And, it's like, if you're going to call penalties, that's fine, but just like keep it fair. It's like there's no way that, I mean, the Canucks had 7 power plays and the Sharks had 5, which is, I mean, whatever, at least. But it's just like some of the calls on that the Canucks got were really soft, and some of the calls that didn't get called on the Sharks again, like the Merkley one where that's clearly a headshot and the play continues that literally leads to a goal. Like what are we doing here, guys? So but yeah, the refs, they're bad. They continue to be bad. Stuff like that. So let's see, any comment? Let's see. Yep, refs were horrible. Dirty game from the Canucks. The Canucks are a poverty franchise. So they're up and coming. But any chance Bob Bugner's fired after this season? Maybe. I think it depends, to be honest. Excuse me while I think it depends, to be honest, what the timeline is for the general manager. It seems like they're going to take their time and try to find the right person, et cetera, et cetera. But usually when you hire a general manager, this person's going to want to bring in their own coach, kind of so their philosophies and stuff mesh. I, for one, have watched enough of the Bob Bugner era, and I'm ready to see a different voice behind one who will, especially when Kyle and I have talked about this 1,000 times already, but like when you have such an influx of young players who are going to be starting, I mean, like Dahlen and Leonard, like these guys are just the tip of the iceberg of when it comes to these young players who are about to start playing meaningful time with the Sharks. And it's like you can't just, like, Dahlen played 6 minutes and 10 seconds tonight, and it's like, I know Dahlen's been hurt and he hasn't played he's been nowhere near as good as he was at the beginning of the season, but like I think helping a young guy kind of work out of his funk by giving him real opportunity and real minutes, and like putting him, like, you put up, like, I like Scott Reedy, and like we like Scott Reedy, but it's like you're playing these guys less than 10 minutes, and your Nick Bonitos and stuff like that are playing a lot more. And again, the season's lost at this point. Like they're the next team on the chopping block for when it comes to missing the playoffs, and you're just like, Dahlen, you made a mistake. Sorry, sit on the bench. And it's like you got to work through these mistakes and stuff like that. So I'm beginning to think Dahlen, it's just a gut feeling that Dahlen might not be coming back next year. Like, especially if Bob Bugner's the coach, would you rather come back and play 10 minutes a night under Bob Bugner? Or would you rather come back, or would you rather go to Teamra, who's going to be an SHL and be a superstar for Teamra, for your hometown team, and score a ton of goals and, play as much as you want? So we'll see. Again, if Bob Bugner's gone, they get a new head coach and everything is all good and et cetera, et cetera. And, they try to find someone who's going to be more offensively driven, or, kind of let the younger players develop more. Maybe Dahlen, can kind of see that. So, like it's tough with Dahlen. So, where are we at? Hey, there are other people here tonight. We're getting big time. Let's see if we're still, I think I checked. So we're still at, where are we at? 685. If we can get a couple more subscribers, I really wanted to get to 700 tonight, but if we get a couple more subscribers, I might still do a giveaway for the San Jose Hockey Now. So we'll see how I'm feeling. Kakinen, I thought he looked good for the most part. Like all the goals he kind of got hung out to dry a little bit. Yeah, but at some point too, you'd still like him to make, especially like the Garland one. It was a 2-on-1, but like Garland just beat him right there. So, and then like the Chisholm goal where Chisholm just literally left by himself. It's like the defensive breakdown there. So, little tough there. But. Headshot on Couture in the first. Yeah, probably. If the losses keep piling up, I'd say there's a good chance he's gone, especially with the new GM. Yeah, like I said, I think, it's like the team still played hard. It's not like last year where it was just like the team is definitely playing harder and playing better than they were last year. You look at granted, they have better players than they did last year. If you look at the lineups that the Sharks are putting out at the end of the season last year, when you had 2C, Patrick Marleau, et cetera, et cetera. But like they're playing hard and stuff like that. We'll I don't know. I've had enough of Bob Bugner, to be honest. So, what do I think of the exchange between Carlson and Couture? Yeah, they're showing it right now on the TV. Yeah, I mean, seemed like they weren't happy about something. I guess Carlson didn't keep the pinch in. He didn't keep the play alive when Couture was kind of when Couture rimmed it around and stuff like that. And that's just the heat of the battle type of thing. And those guys, I'm sure, will talk it out and stuff like that. So we fans, media, etc., will probably make way more of it than it actually is, and they'll probably just go talk it out and move on because they're professionals and that's what they do. So yeah, it's not like that's whatever. I was just Shimmick over Dahlen. It feels like I was really hoping the Sharks would tie it up just because I wanted to see Shimmick out there in overtime. When the 3-on-3 would be like Couture, Burns, and Shimmick, just because Bob Bugner hates us personally. Anyway. Having to step down. I mean, I still think Doug Wilson was like. I know it sounds terrible, but Doug having to step down to health issues is the best thing that could have happened to the franchise right now. And Josh also follows up and says, "All that being said, I hope he gets better." It's going to be an interesting time. Tuesday's episode, we've already pre-recorded it because Kyle's going to be kind of touch and go this week, so we pre-recorded it. We're actually going to go through. We went through 14 names of potential general managers and kind of give you a little just bit of who this person is. That way you can, because a lot of these people, it's like, I don't, like, oh, cool, they work for Colorado or something like that. Just try to give you a little bit of who this person is. That way, if their name comes up, you're like, oh yeah, that person, little kind of, especially if you're watching on YouTube, I made graphics to get a nice little name to the face. So very excited for that one. It was, we put a lot of work into that. So we recorded it on a Friday night. So to get Kyle to do anything on a Friday night that isn't not recorded is something special. But bigger system, which practice habits is absolutely trash. The guys have insufficient 5-on-5. Yeah, again, Bob Bugner, not a big fan here. Is there anything else concussion testing just non-existent? I mean, that's how it is with all sports, I feel like, where guys go back in. I mean, it's gotten a lot better, especially than like when I was a kid, and you'd be watching the NFL and a guy and like, oh, he got his bell rung. And as a kid, you're kind of like, like, what does that mean? But then like as an adult, you look back like, oh my God, that guy's playing with concussion. He's going back out there. But like it's gotten a lot better. But like nights like tonight again with Ryan Merkley, where it's like that dude, he didn't look right, and to let especially any player, but especially a young player like that go back out there and like what if he got hit again? Like you see like with Colorado, like Bowen Byram, who's been dealing with concussion, young player, been dealing with concussion issues, and it's like you never know with those like when it's just gonna be the one where it's like, oh, that's the one where it kind of starts the a ton of these concussions and stuff. And not to harp on this and stuff, but it's just like, especially with a young player like that where he doesn't always know how to protect himself, and and sometimes just big guys like that like to headhunt and stuff like that. And why are you putting him back in a position where you might do more long-term damage? So for the sake of Echo and Bob has to go. Yes, we know. Liz, hi Liz. Up and coming Barracuda fours. The Sharks have all ones they're willing to try for now, except for Peterson and Weatherby. I was just talking kind of long term. Like you're gonna have, they have a bunch of up and coming players. Like especially next year when it's like you're gonna have, in San Jose, you're gonna have Aussies, you're gonna have your Gushins, you're gonna have your Codes, you're gonna have your Robins, you're gonna have these guys who are supposed to be a part of your next core. And I just don't feel like Bob Bugner is gonna really kind of the best nurturing place for them. So and of course Lord Jasper Weatherby. Who can forget Lord Jasper Weatherby? I'd like to see Weatherby get some more time. It's kind of weird that they didn't bring more people with them on this road trip. Like going away for like 5 games in a row, and you have to play 11 forwards and 7 defensemen in your first game. Is Shimmick over Raska? Shimmick is the greatest forward the Sharks have ever seen, other than Brent Burns. But like, why are you not bringing more dudes with you? Like, seriously, just some more just bring Weatherby, or bring, like, who cares? As long as you're not going to the cap, you can bring as there's no limits after the trade deadline, where it's like you can bring as many guys as you want, as long as you're not over the over like your cap. And the Sharks have a ton of cap space still. It's like, why are you not, like, just bring some of these guys in, so it's like you don't have to play you don't have to play 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. I get you want to play Shimmick, but it's like, cool, man. You can bench Megna, or you can bench Vlasic, who hasn't played well recently, or it doesn't matter. Just why, again, playing 11 forwards and 7 defensemen is just like, who cares about the CUDA? Their season's over. Like, who cares about the CUDA right now? You're trying to get real players. You're trying to get the Sharks with real opportunities here, and yeah, I mean, whatever. CUDA at their bare minimum, but again, the Sharks system is also at the bare minimum right now, and like, just the Sharks are just going to play like 10 defensemen, and it's going to be Hurdle, Timo, Couture, Rudy, Barabanov, Bonino, Gregor, Nieto, and then just the rest defensemen. They're going to have a whole fourth line just made up of defensemen. It's like, whatever. That's what's going to happen here soon. The poor Sharks, they're just out of it right now, and but again, like, why are you just not bringing more people with you on the sort of a road trip? So it's weird. Yeah. Let's see, how many do we get? Any more subscribers? Let's see. Let me check. If you are watching, you should be subscribers. 685. Let's see who. I'm gonna hold off until we get to 700. Really want to get to 700 subscribers, so I'm gonna try to do, especially next weekend. I'll probably do another live stream, because Kyle is also RIP with his Australian girlfriend that none of us ever met, because she's Australian, apparently. I assume that's like in America, we say, oh, my girlfriend's from Canada. You've never met her. Australians or Canadians have to go to another country, and I assume Australia. Is that the blood alcohol a BAC for Kyle? He seemed pretty toasted from just the couple text messages I got from him. He seemed pretty toasted in his interactions on Twitter. So, but yeah, so I'll do another one of these probably next Saturday night after the Sharks play. I think they play the Stars or something. I forget who they play next weekend. So, I'll probably do another one. If we get to 700 subscribers by then, I will do a giveaway for someone in the chat who's watching live, for a free year subscription of San Jose Hockey Now. Go subscribe, go all do that stuff. So I will still have a full episode. I'm gonna be Han Solo for Monday's show, where I'll kind of talk about the game kind of more in detail, look at it from another angle. And then I think I might do some the last segment. I think I'm going to do some mock draft, run through a couple mock drafts, and just kind of see where the Sharks who might be available, just kind of as a last segment thing. So, and then we might do once we get closer to the draft, Kyle and I will do like real mock drafts and all that stuff. So I'll probably just run through a mock draft, FC Hockey's mock draft simulator. So subscribe, go follow me on Twitter at my fry hole. I am on Dakota. She is asleep on the couch because that's all she does. Well, fun fact, when we got Dakota, we were like, no, she's not going to get on the couch. No, she's not going to get on the couch. As soon as she was big enough to get on the couch, my wife was like, oh, she's snuggling me. La, la, la. And then that was the end of her not getting on the couch. So, yeah. And then now she's not going to sleep in our bed. Now she's not going to sleep in our bed. And then my wife, who I think most of you guys know, my wife is a nighttime NICU nurse. And so she works at night, and then she comes home and sleeps during the day. And of course, she has the dog up in our bed to snuggle with her during the day because, yeah, that I think the dog is more love than I am. But anyway, so yeah, we'll be back. Go follow me on Twitter. I'm trying to pass Kyle quietly, trying to pass Kyle. I think I'm like 30 followers behind him. So please go do that. Yeah, go do that. And then don't follow Kyle because Kyle's already done that. Do we have any guys deeper in the draft that we're interested? Right now we're going to focus on the first round. And then as we get closer to the draft, we'll look at some more like second and third round guys here as well. But yeah, we have another draft profile with BFF of the show, Will Scouch, on Thursday. We do Gleb, the Russian machine, who is amazing. So make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye, friends.